So second guessing comes, right, there are really two issues with second guessing. One is confidence, right? You're not confident in your answer. And the other one is self-control. So we're going to address both of these issues. So confidence, right? This I think you can really, draw on from the fact that you're a part of this course, right? You followed the program, right? You did your reading, you came to classes, you took your quiz, you did your note cards, you studied, right? Ultimately, what you need to remind yourself is that you're really well prepared. In fact, nobody who takes this exam is going to be better prepared than you are. They might be the same, but they won't be more prepared than you. Okay, so that takes the first half of the equation, right? Confidence. The second half of the confidence is this idea of self-control so that you can stick to what you know to be correct, right? And so, you spent all this time preparing for your CMP. Don't undo all that hard work. Stick to what you know to be correct using self-control. Now, you can practice this, right? Which seems strange, but you can absolutely practice and on sticking to your decisions. Okay, so let's start with, you go out to a restaurant and there's a menu in front of us and you go, oh, I want to eat that. Oh, but maybe I want to eat that. Stick with your first decision, right? How about Netflix, right? We go on Netflix and we could spend hours and hours and hours, right? Scrolling through all those menus and looking at for the next best thing, the thing that would be better. Ooh, I like that, but maybe there's something better, right? And so we could keep looking for that better thing. So practice choosing and sticking with it by choosing something on Netflix and watching it. Don't keep looking, right? Or perhaps, this happens to me, in the morning, I lay out my outfit and I shower and then I get dressed. And by the time I get out, I could change my mind. I want to wear something different, right? Well, again, you're practicing choosing and sticking with it. So don't do that. Now, there may be things that you could think of also, that you decide to do something and then you change your mind. Maybe it's, I'm going to have this for breakfast, and then you get into the kitchen and you change your mind and you make something different. So all of these things may seem insignificant, but in fact, they are, right? They're insignificant. What's the matter? It doesn't matter if you change your mind in any of these situations, but you need to build a habit, right, of making a choice and sticking with it, right? And so try and find a few of these things that perhaps you do change often, and try and build that habit, at least until you're done with the exam, right? Okay, so Alejandra struggles with, in the morning, should she have iced coffee or hot coffee, right? Which one? And you don't decide, or you decide one and then you change. Stick with what you decide, okay? Again, it's not like a life-changing thing, and in fact, getting any one question wrong is also not going to impact your score, right? It's the problem right now for you is that you've built this habit of changing, right? So you have to fix that and practice choosing without changing, okay? So here's some concrete actions that you can do, okay? The first is choose a new thought. So you're looking at the question and you've chosen one, but you're going, maybe I'm not right, right? In that moment, what you need to do is change your focus. So literally, you want to move your eyes away from the paper or from the screen in your case and refocus by taking a deep breath, right? So you're like removing yourself from the situation a little bit, right? Then the next thing that you can do is say to yourself, time is so valuable. I need to have every moment that I can on this exam. And by sitting there and going, should I do this or should I do that? What you're doing is wasting time, right? And you don't have the time to waste. So that now you're going to convince yourself that what you're doing is actually not helping you. Now, before it all starts, you might also want to make an agreement with yourself that you're going to limit yourself to the number of times that you'll allow yourself to change your answer, right? Give yourself a budget, right? Maybe it's one guess for every 50 questions. So that means on the CMP exam, you're allowed to second guess yourself 3 times, right? And you will have to trust your gut for the rest of the time. So now you've got a budget. Well, do I want to do it on this one or this one, right? So another idea that I actually think really works very well is to flag the question. So you know that the exam interface allows you to flag a question so you can come back to it. Well, instead of changing the answer, I think I want to change the answer, I have this answer, maybe it's this answer. Instead of doing that, just flag the question and move on. Okay? Then you can go back and look at it again. Okay? And when you do that, what I want you to do is trust your logic. Okay? So before you change the answer, when you go back to it, right, explain to yourself why you chose the original option. Right? Does the reasoning still hold true? Given now that you've seen the rest of the exam, right? There may be things in the rest of the exam that trigger you for this question, right? If it still holds true, leave the answer. But if something else triggered you and you're 100% sure that the original answer is not correct, then you can change the answer, right? So now you have some real concrete tools for you to use when you start second guessing yourself, right? So choose a new thought, change your focus, right? Remind yourself that by changing your focus, you're saving time and that you've made a deal. You're only going to change 3 questions, right? So instead, I'm going to flag the question. And when I come back to it, I'm going to remind myself why I chose the first option, right? The original choice. If that reasoning still holds true, I'm going to leave the answer, right? Otherwise, if something triggered me and now I'm 100% positive, I will change the answer. How does that work? Does that give you some real concrete steps to go through?